I don't know if this is a way to be hated or loved, I don't know. I know, last week or 2 weeks ago I've published a video regarding the Carrera Panamericana and the Around the World in 24 Hours, season number 1, finishing where it all started. That was, yes, the Mexican, let's say, Grand Prix circuit, the Ricardo Rodriguez, finishing a long year proposal from myself. But do you see where I am today here? Still Daytona, still where everything has started 1 year ago for myself at least. I couldn't resist. I apologize with all of you, because maybe we will have another long year together with not 12, one per month, but 15 races regarding the endurance world. And honestly, maybe you will hate me sooner or later because I talk a lot about endurance races. But it's like if I had a sort of virus regarding endurance races. Because if it is never late to fall in love, combined with all the possibilities of racing games, I fear they are making me a bit prone to endurance world. So please pardon me, from the bottom of my heart, pardon me, but I want to tell you another story, another season, another view, if you like, of a world that was honestly the golden era of motorsport, I think. But the need for telling you stories about cars, drivers, tracks, famous races. And after 12 months from the first episode of this particular theme that I love so much, I thought was the time to go back to Daytona, where for me all started, in the same month where all finished. So the Around the World in 24 Hours Season 1 with sport prototypes of the 80s and 90s and BPR cars of the mid-90s together combined. And here we are, let's say, going back almost 20 years prior to those golden era of turbo sport prototypes and then special and very exotic GT cars built to be taken from a car dealership and put on track. Especially thanks to privateers, that is the dedication that I want to put on the table from today onwards, but also to big names in motorsport like Porsche, Ferrari, Bugatti, Jaguar, etc. Lola, Chevron, that I think they put the best product they had on track to be recognized as great manufacturers, and also to build up their history, their roots, their backbone of capabilities about building sports and race cars. From the iCorner, from Marco, ciao, welcome everybody. Sorry for not saying hello at the beginning. The combination, I think, very nice between the Power and Glory game and all the cars that Power and Glory did bring with it, that maybe I didn't celebrate enough in the previous season, so I will take the opportunity now to celebrate this Power and Glory game and content and mod as it deserves, combining with what is the Le Mans Classic mod that you can find for GTR2, GT Legends, R Factor and Power and Glory, that will bring basically the Le Mans of 1970 into our computers. So it will be a difficult season with cars swinging here and there, sleeping here and there, with heavy cars to be driven. Also the force feedback on the steering wheel does an incredible job, with the same principle of having 15 races that at the end as a total time race that will be 24 hours for another year together, if you like. Despite working on many ideas for this 2023 year, I couldn't just finish some chapters like for IndyCar, for GP4, etc. From a sport prototype GT types of cars, I will start with this, going back to the 70s, a couple of years before the 1970, a couple of years after the 1970, combining the best of two worlds. but maybe where everything for me started, developed, and as said, arrived to be pure love for the first golden era for sport prototypes, endurance races in general, considering that we have already seen the second golden era for sport prototypes and endurance races with the first season I did and just finished a few weeks ago. Now that we are approaching the maybe, we hope so, third and new golden era for endurance world, thanks to the IMSA and the WEC starting in a couple of weeks, if not days, like for the Rolex 24 hours of Daytona. So welcome back on iKeysRacing in this new, almost new format that will be just spoken in English, and it will become, I hope, a more and more and deeper channel to find useful informations, useful stories, and incredible and crazy stories about drivers, about cars, about constructors, about tracks, about famous races, just to in some way share with you all and give to you all before the end of my time what is my research, my knowledge, my passion, that maybe will inspire you in some way, like many books, many movies, many documentaries, many journalists, many drivers, many everything have inspired me since I was a little child. So before starting this season, welcome to Daytona, welcome to the year 2023 for iKeysRacing, and welcome to the World Sports Car Championship of the 70s, combined roughly in some nice way, here today with the first race of 15 to tell you also some stories and some passions and some good things about the world of sports car and grand tours. So welcome to the season number 2 of Around the World in 24 hours, 15 races of endurance world, racing a proper race time of 24 hours at the end, plus 1 or 2 minutes, and so we can go on track, have maybe a nice choice for a car to be driven by the AI, both from GTs. We will choose, like in the previous season, a Grand Tourer and a Sport prototype. See you very soon on track, and thank you for staying with me here at Daytona. See you in a minute on track. So welcome at the Daytona International Speedway, 1 month before the Daytona 500 of the NASCAR World. We are here with the Chevrolet Corvette C3 model of the 1960, I don't remember when. Let's go to have a quick lap with them. With almost a wide arrival on the first corner. Whoa, almost a loss of control. Yes, almost. This was a 5 liters V8 Chevrolet engine mounted on this beautiful lady. It is a Chevrolet C3. Quite a car. Car with the technology of the end of the 60s, the American technology in automotive, for a sports car, for a grand tourist, let's say, dedicated to road racing, and nowadays arrived at, I don't remember even if it is the 7th, the 8th generation, 9th, 10th generation of Corvette, but such an iconic and incredible race car, even if coming from road usage. We now go to find out a prototype, I think, and then we will see another lap around Daytona with a proper monster. Okay, let's get a Ferrari North American racing team, the 512 Coda Lunga, long tail. Ahead there is a Matra MS650. You can see a lot of swing from cars of the 70s. That was the attitude of those cars, given the technology back then. Radial tires, sometime. Not completely slick. Few aerodynamics devices, choices, and know-how, if you like. Engines too powerful for what were the chassis available back then, and drivers that I think they had 4 balls instead of 2, because driving this type of cars was absolutely something crazy, something totally insane, basically risking your own life every Sunday race. With speeds in excess of 300k already back in the 70s, like then we have seen at Le Mans on the Hunadier long straight, and not only there. So this was a sport prototype, but I wanted to go back where it all started, and I think that mainly it all started at the end of the 60s, when the technology started to move from GT cars into pure prototypes, and that change, if you like, did bring the world of endurance to what is today, definitely. So there's nothing left to say, just that I was missing this particular era, so I wanted to bring these moments shared together with you. Will be a long season, will be a tough challenge also for myself. Today racing for 4 hours on a Ford GT40 of the 69, like you have seen in the cover of this video. I will challenge myself heavily this time, and maybe I will improve a bit, I don't know. But here we don't have many wings to adjust, we don't have many dampers, rebounders, many technological devices to have a perfect setup. Some cars will have, some others not, and so will be tough for myself, but I hope to bring you definitely the core of modern endurance motorsport that will be our company until the end of the year. Not only because I have also a lot of other projects about endurance races, but let's start with this. So as you have seen by the cover of this new video, there was a preview of what could have been a nice choice about racing cars, and for this particular 24 hours of Daytona reduced 6 times down to 4 hours, like I did exactly 1 year ago. I couldn't resist to try an American muscle car, especially this one coming from the year 69. The number is the 7, on the number 6 you will get great drivers, I would say, with the name of Jackie X, the Belgian master of Le Mans, and not only, and Jackie Oliver, that maybe then you have seen around with the Larousse Formula 1 team. We will be the teammate of this incredible couple, driving this Ford prepared by John Wyer Automotive Engineering, like we have seen then in the 70s with the assault of Porsche to the sport prototypes category. But back in 69 we were close to the final evolution of this monster that completely dominated the scene of endurance racing from 1966 onwards, and especially this particular version of the Ford GT40 has the incredible 5 liters V8 with 2 valves per cylinder, but mounted in the mid section of the car. And from Power and Glory you cannot miss any single detail, because at the end they did an incredible work of research, of combining informations, performances, behaviors, etc. So this monster finally can be used since the arrival of Power and Glory. I don't remember if 1, 2 or version number 3, but doesn't matter. The result of the incredible work done by the group that created Power and Glory on the base of GTR2 is this one. Every single car has its own history, has its own particular detail or historic appointment or historic situation that worth the mention in this game. And for this particular version, here you can read what was happening between the end of 68 going into the 69, that is the year when this car raced. So I'm leaving you anyway this screen if you like a bit more, but what is really scary is that a tiny car like this one had an incredible 5 liters V8 under the hood, and believe me, with this particular arrangement I have found will place this particular car into a mid-average position from a performance point of view. So maybe we will not win these 24 hours of Le Mans unless something crazy and special will happen, but different from the previous season, this time we will dance and swing a lot, and you will notice it once we will go on track. Crucial will be the usage of the reliability of the car, avoiding to overuse the RPM of each engine, especially with these old ladies. The usage of tires will be crucial also, and mainly I would say when you have a car that weighs around 1 ton and has more or less a horsepower almost for each kilogram moved, is something to be driven, I would say, in a particular manner. You must be very clean, very respectful of the car and of his handling, and no, you cannot, let's say, drive the car like a crazy cow like we did with sport prototypes or more recent mid-90s GT cars. So after a fierce battle lasted 12 races with Group C in the period 83-93, and all the BPR cars, it's time now to try myself and ourselves along endurance races like we have seen previously, learn a bit more about how to race a car with a proper and respectful manner. Also because these were cars not forgiving at all the minimum exaggeration by a driver. So this is the monster for today. Let's go to see also all the cars involved, starting from what are the Group 2 and Group 4 normal, if you like, street road cars. We will have the participation here in Daytona of the official Alfa Romeo racing team of the 70s and the 60s, the Auto Delta SPA, with an Alfa Romeo Giulia 2000 Grand Tourers AM, like nowadays we see the amateur class somewhere, with two versions, like a proper team, but the first one will be the usual red with white spots here and there from the Auto Delta official racing team of Alfa Romeo, but also we will see the model with the number 42, but will be orange, so very visible with the differentiation for both cars. Still, Group 2 will bring also a BMW CSL model 12 valves, that is, let's say, the old version of the Line 6 cylinders from the constructor from the Bavaria or Bavarian region from Germany, thanks to the Jägermeister Alpina racing team, together with the official BMW Motorsport GmbH, this time together with one of my favorite couple for endurance races, my heroes, Jackie X and Derek Bell, with this model that is a 3.5 liters, 24 valves, that so was still a Line 6, but with a new technology that back in the 70s and the 60s was not, let's say, particularly diffused like it is today also on diesel engines. We are in America, so we cannot talk about Ford, not only for our GT40, but also for the official Ford from Cologne, Group 2 Capri RS 2600, that will be a 3 liters more or less, a 2.9, a V6, just 12 valves, as you can see. Here we go back to the 2 valves per cylinder, maybe a more normal car than the GT40, front mounted engine, but rear wheel drive. The same Capri has been heavily raced and used to win very often, still with the Group 2, but the model is the RS 3100. The engine goes up in volume, so from a 2.9 liters we arrive to the 3.4, still a V6, this time a 24 valves, so 4 valves per cylinder, and again the engine is still front mounted with a rear wheel drive. A very powerful car, very capable to win races easily. This one was the privateer Alan Moffat Racing, but from the official Ford from Cologne we have anyway the number 4, driven by the German couple Mass Stommelen, with the same model, just graphically a bit different. We talk about America, we talk about US, we cannot forget the American side of Ford, like a sort of double face between Europe and US, with the Mustang Boss 302. This is absolutely another monster of those years, still the Alan Moffat privateer team, with a 5 liters V8 and 4-speed available to move this car mainly with the torque than with the raw power, but anyway was a car that couldn't miss in races like this. The other model of the Star iKeysRacing Steel Group 2 was very pleasant to me from a graphical point of view, and I did wanted to have anyway cars hiding in the night, maybe sometimes without front lights, like I did 1 year ago, exactly 1 year ago, with the Intrepid Chevrolet. Still Ford Mustang, still versions Boss 302, but this time we go back to the roots of what was the privateer high capacity and high capability of a small manufacturer to arrange and prepare cars very scary and wonderful to be raced every day into the American soil for a stock car. This is a Shelby Racing prepared with this car driven by Peter Revson. We have still the 5 liters V8, 16 valves, front mounted with the 4-speed and the rear wheel drive with 462 horsepower. Still in US, we go up in the group because we are in the year 71. There is a Chevrolet Corvette C3 version with the hardtop and the famous, I would say for me at least when I was a child, the Stingray version that made me know this Corvette model. The engine was a powerful 7 liters V8, 16 valves, front mounted, again like the Ford Mustang, 4-speed and rear wheel drive. We go back in some way in Italy, but in reality De Tomaso was an Argentinian manufacturer. We have the Pantera of the Spanish Escuderia Montjuic, if the pronunciation is correct, with an American Ford V8 mounted exactly at the back of the driver. Here we are around 5.7 liters, still a V8, this time a 5-speed gear, just the power, a bit undetuned for maybe reliability needs. We were in the year 72 with the Boss model for this De Tomaso Pantera. Modena version, we will now have a specification about it, comes from the year 73. For Italians viewers, Achille Motors was absolutely a giant, owning a lot of powerful cars, a powerful network of dealership. He was, let's say, healthy enough to race this monster around Europe. As a specification has said, we are here in 73, the factory built their own race engines for better longevity and performance. They call it Modena. So mainly was a Ford engine revised by the De Tomaso company. We go back again to the Boss model that was named Boss because prepared, as you can read, by the Bud Moore equipe with a different displacement and choice for carburetors. They are, let's say, starving for fuel, these kind of cars, but very spectacular to have around. Still in Group 4, we finally arrived to Porsche. We have 2 models. The first one is the 911 Carrera RSR 2.8 of the Porsche Sonauto BP British Petrol Racing. Couldn't miss the Daytona appointment, but especially we could not miss the Brumos racing team that has been very successful, but very, very, very successful, especially at Daytona. So we could not go ahead without this kind of car running around. Still the model 911, but ST 2.5 liters, a bit reduced. It is still a flat 6, 300 horsepower for the previous version, 271 for this one. Not anyway a bad car to drive, in particular from the Porsche Kremer Racing team. The comparison is year 72 and the following one 73. We have seen our Ford GT40 of the 69. I just show you also the Jackie X, Jackie Oliver version. Keep an eye on this car because it's our direct competitor and we must try to qualify the car in front of this model, sort of battle between sisters. We finished the GT category with a 68 Corvette C3. As you can see, different paint scheme and maybe different particulars and details from an aerodynamic point of view, but the car is not dissimilar to the previous one. Here is not written, but just a bit, let's say, heavier and with the same powerful V8 engine Chevrolet. Last but not least, a tiny small Porsche in the 2 liters category for GTs. The year is 1970, Sonauto team. The model is the 914 or 914 6 GT, a small car, with a great capacity of handling, very stable. It is just a flat 6 Porsche engine, 2 liters, 12 valves in total, with a 5-speed and a rear wheel drive. One of the most chosen car for privateers also. And so, saying hello to the GT category that will bring for this race on 41 slots available 21 cars. Here we start with the year 1970, with the Chevron Racing Team official model B16 in the prototype category 2 liters. In this case, this car graphically also has 4 inline cylinders of the BMW manufacturer Road Roots engine prepared for this particular. The other model, it is still a Chevron B16, but this time with a rotary engine, as you can see here, powered by Mazda Rotary Japan. Still in the class of 2 liters, graphically, unfortunately, it is the same BMW engine seen before, in this particular case also named and badged as Ford, but it is just a compromise between for the class where this car belongs. Anyway, 2 different teams, one official, the other one sponsored by the producer of jeans and not only ladies. Don't ask me why, but in the category Sport 2 liters there's another Chevron B16. The car, as you can see, is more or less the same seen previously. Here, instead, the Ford badge on the engine is correct, because this model in particular was a 2 liters category, but with a Ford DFV 4-cylinder inline. Prototypes 2.5 liters. The Wiki Racing team has a Porsche 907 LH that was still one of the what we may call LMP2 today for Porsche, that before approaching what was the high liters category continued to produce small cars with small engines, in this case a 2.1 liter, with the original flat 6 arrangement like it is usual for Porsche, developing 205 kilowatts that more or less should be around 230 horsepower. That was a small engine, but absolutely capable of being a perfect match with a car very light, 730 kilograms if I'm not wrong, yes, again like for the Ford GT40, with almost a horsepower every 2 kilograms to be moved. The car was beautiful, was seen also at Le Mans, and not only. Today we will see how she will perform once on track. We arrived to the 3 liters prototype category with the Alfa Romeo T33 model of the official Autodelta SPA, that is the official arm of the Italian manufacturer for sport activities. It is a 3 liters engine on this sport prototype built in Milan. Here we start to increase with power, torque and performances because we have 420 horsepower available on a weight of just 764 kilograms. So something basically almost double what was the similar weight of the Porsche, but almost the double of the power output. Of the same racing team, the 35 with bronze orange details, if you like, and the 36 with white front area. Ferrari will arrive with the 3112P model from the year 1970 and the North American Racing Team, what was the unofficial Ferrari American Racing Team, if you like. We will have finally a beautiful 12 cylinders, a crazy engine with a crazy power output, and with a winning car that also nowadays it is still in the right side and the good side of the memory for many of us, because it was absolutely one of the first monsters seen on track. We will see the 23 and the 57. Still in the category of prototypes 3 liters, the Donald Healey Motor Company designed and built and produced a Healey, the British manufacturer very famous in the 60s and the 70s in UK, and not only, that had the ability to build a light chassis, but let's say in some way underpowered and unfortunately not matched very well with an old 3 liters Repco engine coming from what was if you remember, the Formula 1 Brabham Repco, famous in the 60s for winning also world championships in Formula 1, but for the endurance world the engine unluckily was too old, too heavy, and not specific prepared for this type of races. But anyway, it was a beautiful car that I wanted to see here at Daytona today. Anyway, a nice car, lighter than the Ford GT40, powerful enough to cope more or less with the average prototype available back then, but not for sure a winning car, but a nice experiment anyway. We go in France with Matra, with the official Equipe Matra Elf. The model is the MS650, quite a beautiful silhouette. We have some special drivers also at the wheel, Jean-Pierre Jobouil and Patrick Depailler, together with Jack Brabham and the late François Severt, that we will never forget, I'm sure. The car was like almost a Ferrari, with a 12-cylinder engine of 3 liters, capable of 430 horsepower, for a weight of 800 kilograms. So as you can see, more or less aligned with the Ferrari P3. Also because the period is basically the same, 1970. We go on to conclude with Porsche, the prototype's 3 liters. We have a Martini International Racing Team with the model 90802, again with the 8 cylinders Porsche engine, 350 horsepower, for a weight of just 670 kilograms. This car will be absolutely very competitive, and as you can see, differently from Formula 1 or for various single Formula categories, here there is absolutely a balance between weight and power ratio. This makes the difference sometimes with bigger cars, more powerful, competing with smaller cars, less powerful. In particular, this model is driven by 2 Austrians, guys that maybe you can recognize. If not Mr. Linz, for sure you can recognize Helmut Marko, the current sportive director of Red Bull Formula 1 activities, and not only. The same model with the K version comes from the year 68, so 2 years before the explosion of the prototype concept. The 908K is the official Porsche system engineering, with a combination of 680 kilograms and just 260 kilowatts that more or less are 300 horsepower. Again, a combination of weight and power output. The car is absolutely very famous, seen also around Europe and not only in the most prestigious races. I've already presented what was the Chevron B16 of the ring-free racing team with the Ford DFV engine. We finish this category with the model 906 Carrera 6 of Porsche, coming from year 1966. We will have the official again Porsche system engineering equipe with 2 versions, the number 49 and the number 58. The specification is about a flat 6 2 liters engine, like the one we have seen before with the 908 LH model, long tail if you like. Anyway, this model has a 2 liters flat 6 engine, just 12 valves, 2 per cylinder, with a maximum power of 217 horsepower, with a weight of 610 kilograms. You can see from the end of the 60s to the beginning of the 70s how engines developed dramatically. Here we have more or less 2 liters with 100 horsepower per liter. When we arrive to the prototypes 3 liters, like for the Alfa Romeo seen before, and now you will see also the Ferraris, the Lolas and the Porsches, will be absolutely something crazy. So talking about the big prototypes, the big monsters, we start with Ferrari. We'll bring 3 models, the number 5, 7 and 11. The 11 is another North American racing team, so the unofficial Ferrari for America. The official Ferrari Spa Cefac, like was named back in the 70s, will bring a 12 cylinders, 5 liters, capable of 580 horsepower, for a weight less than 1000 kilograms, under a complete ton of weight, but with almost 600 horsepower. These cars in particular, I'm sure you have seen them in the movie Le Mans of Steve McQueen. Lola will bring 2 the same model with the two teams, the Racing Team VDS and the Grand Bahama Racing. The car is another monster, a 5 liters prototype sport car with a V8 at the back of the chassis, very similar to the Porsche, I would say. Like the Ferrari was around 900 kilograms, but the power output was unluckily less extreme, so here we have a 465 horsepower available. The same obviously can be said for the other model. We finish then with maybe one of the most iconic prototype from Porsche ever seen, especially for the Le Mans 1970 movie of Steve McQueen, 71 the year of publication. Still the John Wyer Automotive Engineering. We will have the model with the number 20, the 21 and the 35 from the Martin International Racing Team. Again with a flat V12 5 liters with a power output of 441 horsepower, that compared to a weight a bit less than the Ferrari puts this car absolutely competitive against the Italian prancing horse. And I am sure that this iconic Gulf paint scheme will be, if not the most, one of the top 3 ever most liked scheme for a racing car, the most iconic. Thanks to the movie, sure, but honestly, for how many years the Gulf livery has been in the sport. I mean, not only with Porsche, but still years before, thanks already before the arrival of the movie of Steve McQueen with the Ford GT and the Mirage cars. We got to select the number 7, our car for this appointment, and we will see what I will be capable to do. So you can jump the chapter and go directly to the car setup and the qualification session. But differently from the previous Around the World in 24 hours season I've published until a few days ago, this time I want to try to qualify the car and possibly win races for each class I'm going to race. Also because this model of Ford will be driven just in this appointment by myself, then we'll go back in the hands of the artificial intelligence from the second race onwards. So talking about regulations, as you can see, this Ford GT40 hasn't a particular well-developed way of changing things, so you can just play with the toe in and toe out, front and rear. The rear anti-roll bar, gears obviously, they are 5 luckily, differently from the 4 that usually American cars had back then once the automatic gear was substituted with a manual one. They had a lot of torque, they could basically take advantage of one gear less, but the GT40 was thought to be a racing car properly, so this is why you have 5 gears. In the advanced setup, yes, there's something that can be touched here and there, but nothing really spectacular if you like. Also with the 2 times factor for tires consumption and fuel consumption, in 4 hours we will need up to 7 pit stops to hope to arrive to the end. Anyway, this is the screenshot if you want to do it and to try this car setup also at home. The same for the first page. I would say that's it. The first hour of qualification has gone with some cars not racing, like the Shelbys and the Alat Moffat and Stark Heike Mustangs. I hope they will do it in the second hour, differently from the season 1 of Around the World in 24 hours here on iKeysRacing channel. Today I will try the qualification, hopefully arriving to beat, possibly, what is the other GT40 that currently sits in 23rd position, driven by Jackie Hicks and Jackie Oliver, with a 10 seconds gap from the quickest cars that are the Porsche 908, the Ferrari 312, the 5 liter Sports, etc. So let's go to the second qualification session and let's try immediately a quick lap time. So welcome on board on the Ford GT40, year 1969. I'm warming up tires, oil, engine, letting through a Ferrari 512 long tail, Coda Lunga, the original name of the car, 512S. And here on the Ford GT40 is all very nice, very where everything should be. Remember that this car has been developed with the precious and invaluable help of Ken Miles, that did a superb job. We let a Chevron B16, let's learn also who is at the wheel. Mr. Baker and Derek Bell. Back at the end of the 60s, we are in 1970 precisely. First lap just to qualify the car, let's see our pace, then we will decide how much to push. P23 just for a tiny margin in front of X Oliver. I think I can do a bit better. Maybe not being so wide. As you can see, front right tire is already yellow in some moments. It will be a tough race, especially for the usage of fuel, but mainly for tires. They are not tires modern, if you can accept this term. There's a Porsche here. suspension will be not possible to do anything more than this. So I wanted to go to the pit, not this way. So yes, with a broken suspension we can just go to the pit. From a timing point of view, I'm not dissatisfied. At the end we have 6 seconds from the leaders and 4 seconds and 3/10 of advantage over our teammate Jackie Oliver. I think it's more than enough, so we can skip the qualification and let's see if someone else will steal our position. Still 20, still P20. Yes, at the end we keep the P20, still with the same advantage over our teammates. So this is hopefully a good starting point. I don't think that with 6 seconds of pace slower than the Porsches, the Ferraris, etc., we will achieve something special. But I would be more than, let's say, happy to finish with this Group 4 car at the top of the others Group 4 cars. So mainly a final P15 overall and first position, or at least in the top 3, for the Group 2, 4, and we have in the middle some prototypes 2.0, 2 liters in the middle, which should beat, I hope, as much as possible well. And not differently from the Season 1, I will keep the difference between prototypes and sports car earning points divided by the GT cars, if you like. So in this moment we would be third if this was the final classification in the Grand Tourers cars. Anyway, thinking about the race, we can stop the acceleration, we can jump to the race, reload the original setup used with 140 liters for 7 stops. Each stint should last 30 minutes, if more the better, but so far we are stopping basically out of 4 hours of race. After 30 minutes, first hour, hour and a half, second hour and a half, third hour and a half, and hopefully we will arrive to the end. So maybe we can remove the 7th stop, starting with all the fuel that we can. Green flag with this bug of GTR2 that will follow me forever. There are some touches here, no damages to the car at least, but all the quickest prototypes are basically in the back. In the front the game arranged just Group 2 and Group 4 cars. Don't ask me why. I will never get over this bug maybe, but it's race time. 24 hours of Daytona, 4 hours of real racing here with me. Take a chair, sit down, drink and eat, and cheer for me possibly. We'll try to take advantage of this strange field, because then the prototypes will come back massively to chase us. Oops. This is a bad mistake. And you can see sometimes in the most heavy brakes section of the track you have to look at the more internal, now almost pale blue rectangle. In this case it's in this braking area. Not only tires are going to overheat, but as you can see also the internal slim triangle is the temperature of the disc brakes. They suffer again. they suffer a lot if you push too much. So it's not like nowadays modern carbon ceramic or just carbon fiber brake discs. You have to drive very carefully, in some way respect the car. So it's all about dosing your attitude to drive, to overdrive the car in some way. Because back in the 60s and the 70s, technology was something quite different compared to nowadays habits we have with race car. So positions that we lose, some others we gain. We are P8, basically accepting the return of prototypes started back in the fields, especially the two Fords Capris were at the start of the field. After 7 laps and 15 minutes more or less of race, despite being very competitive in the Group 2, Group 4 cars, obviously they can do nothing against the prototypes. Obviously we have a decent top speed like was for the Ford's GT40s back then, maybe not at the level of the prototypes of the 70s, but the GT40 was already a car, let's say, advanced compared to normal GT cars, prepared especially for races. The GT40 was a different breed, if you like. Yellow flag here for the Ferrari 512, the North American racing team. We pass Gallistombi and then maybe will be Alfa not yet. But there was an issue for sure for this Ferrari, that generally is not so slow. So now it's a free battle. And you can see here on the right the 62% value. It's the general health of the car. So I think that I've overused RPM somewhere, or maybe the touches had here and there did bring the general healthy, that did bring the general health of the car down almost to the half she can provide. The race started with 77%, something like that. We have Derek Bell and Ronnie Peterson arriving at our back, the other Ferrari official racing team. We will not battle with her. It's maybe a quicker Ferrari than the one we have in front. But we will see. The only hope I have to win our class of Grand Tourers is finding a decent pace, stopping the car at least one time less than the other. And by a quick calculation, what are they doing here? Ooh! Wow! What a hit! As a pure calculation, we had 140 liters. We used 40 liters to run 20 minutes. So every 10 minutes of race, we used 20 liters. Sorry to force so much, but we had the two Alfa Romeos, an Alfa Romeo and a Ferrari P3 that have been, another one that have been slowed by back markers. Maybe we can take a bit of advantage in this current P4 that is not real, because then we will be unarmed with the arrival back of the prototypes, but as much as we can gain now, the better. So the maximum we can gain now will be a sort of treasure, afterwards. Especially if prototypes are struggling a bit now, it's a good point, because we cannot battle them from a pure top speed point of view. As you can see, they pass us easily. We are just a bit better in the handling during cornering sometimes. Or while passing back markers, but then they go, as you can see, they are too quick for us. In the economy of the 4 races, in the economy of the 4 hours race, will be a consideration to be put on the table, like the one I was saying about the fuel consumption. Because with 40 liters used in 20 minutes does mean 80 liters used in 40 minutes, 120 liters in 1 hour. So driving smoothly are enlarging and stretching the stint, because I'm not using all the RPM, and taking advantage of all these situations where quicker cars are struggling, at least for the moment. Will be a sort of buffer for the rest of the race. So currently we are arriving to having used half of the tank. Tires are decent. You can see the slim rectangle from red color on the bottom and green on the top, the external slim rectangle. If we can endure this way, we will wait to see how many stops we'll do the prototypes. But maybe we have a tiny possibility to maybe beat all the Ford Capris, and not only. And possibly finish on top of the class, especially when backmarkers are doing this strange behavior of cutting the line to the quickest car, like happened to me in qualification with an Alfa Romeo Giulia. And believe it or not, now we are at the back of Jackie X and Peter Schetti, or Schetti, I don't know the pronunciation correct, that are maybe saving a bit of fuel. While after 30 minutes of race, the night is approaching with the 6-time factor multiplier to see all the day-night cycle within 4 hours instead of 24. Another prototype arriving, Porsche 908. It will not battle, not on straights, it's useless. Here we are, the 917K, Kinnunen and Rodriguez. We struggle a lot during cornering, then they go away again. So far 30 minutes of race gone. In real time would have been 3 hours, 6 times more. Now also Elford, Joe Siffert with the white Porsche 908 are in front, but let's try to be calm, to think about the fuel usage, the tires usage after 30 minutes. I feel that can be a key factor if prototypes will stop every 40 minutes more or less. So let's be calm until the first pit stops, especially after our first pit stop, because if we have to attack once the sun will be down, must always happen during the night, where temperatures generally go down, engines and tires generally suffer less, and believe it or not, we are overlapping our teammate X Oliver. Thank you. While I've seen the Ferrari P3 of Mike Parks retiring for a moment, so another good point for a prototype out of the ranking, the final overall ranking. Here, as we haven't been lucky with these back markers. While we have this incredible battle between 3 generations of cars, because the Ford GT40 version is, I would say, almost the last great GT40 seen. In front of us a Porsche 908 model at the end of the 60s for Porsche. Chevron B16, a prototype of 2 liters, much quicker than us on straight, but now he will have to Baker Bell, yes, 20 seconds. We must let pass. I don't want to go to the pit now. I want to keep this stint as long as possible and then do our calculations. Now, good that the Porsche 917K is going to the pit. This is Kinnunen Rodriguez. That's a good point. So they last for 35 minutes, more or less. Together with the Ferrari of X, Peter Schetti or Schetti in front of us is, as I was saying, one of the most recent generation sport prototype, 1970, the year of racing for this and debut in racing for this car. So of these three different eras technology, I would say we are driving the oldest technology available, that is the GT40 design at the beginning of the 60s and then put on track in the middle of the 60s, winner of the 24 Hours of Le Mans from 66 until 69 maybe, yes, 69. In the middle, the white Porsche 908 of Elford Siffert, now leading the race. And the most recent, the Porsche 917 and the Ferrari 512S long tail. I do not see the number if the pale blue Porsche Golf, the John Wyer team, is the previous one or not. Oops. Yes, Kinnunen Rodriguez basically lost 2 minutes in the pit, so 1 full lap, you must remember this. If we stop now, they will be together with us more or less. Again, they will pass us, no problem. We keep our pace. We keep our pace. Ooh, there's a touch between the Ferrari and the Porsche. But Bell Peterson is still 4th, so they regained the track, I think. And now also the Porsche 908 Elford Siffert went to the pit together with X Peter Schetti, the Ferrari, good. So now let's see if in 2 minutes we will be back on the start-finish line. Would mean to have 1 full lap of advantage to approach then our pit stop when it will happen. But I want to see the performances of them once the refueling and the change of tires has happened, because it's true, we have more or less I would say still 20 minutes of racing, of stint. But as you can see from the top left graphic, the more external slim triangles, sorry, slim rectangular, are starting to finish the green line. So each tire has been decently managed so far. But honestly, now we will start to slip, to swing, to drive like on ice. So we will start maybe to be slower. The first partial on top right, 4/10, almost 5/10 is lower than our personal best. And on the top right still, let's go to CX Peter Schetti, 8, 1 minute and a half of gap. So if we stop with 2 minutes pit stop, they will pass in front of us, so now they are maybe driving less slower than on traffic possibly. Kinun and Rodriguez, they are still 1 lap down, 6 seconds ahead, behind us. What a killer. So let's try at least to keep the Porsche 1 lap down. And Elford Seifert instead 93 seconds. Let's keep an eye on our advantage, because we will have to stop in 3 laps time from now. Then I would say that apart from all my comments, the result of this strategy of staying out, stretching the stint, will tell us if we can possibly win this race, surprisingly. Galli Stommelen stopped now with the Alfa Romeo T33. Okay, last consideration, split gap, top right of the graphic, almost 1 second slower than my best personal, that is 159.1. The car now obviously is liked, less fuel inside, but I'm starting to lose grip and to dance and swing here and there. So I'm trying to drive really smoothly. And what else? I would say with our pit stop, Linz Marco with the Porsche 908 will pass in front if they not retire or crash before. Elford Seifert the same. So if I stop now, we may finish 6th or 7th. Yes, 7th I would say. Unless something else happens to the others. Even if I continue to not know what is the strategy of the others. because for sure I've started the race with the tank completely full of fuel. But I don't know the others. So it can be a gamble in some way, having started completely full. These are Bell and Peterson, currently 6th, almost 1 lap down. They should be given with the blue flag that they go with, without letting us pass being the leader. No pressure to hurry the passage. They maybe will pass again. Yes. Let them go. Another matter will be, we can stretch our stint into 1 full hour, good. But are we quick enough? Easy enough to be with 1 hour stint possible? Or the others are just covering themselves? Lights on the track for the night. Playing like the cat with the mouse. I would say 1 more lap. I do not have any way the proper advantage to come out from the pit in the lead still. As soon as the fuel goes down to 1 lap of coverage, I will book the pit. Bell Peterson slower it down in a bad way, and I don't have any more tires. So let's go to the pit now, because the cliff has arrived. And anyway, 1 lap more or less should not make a difference. Yes, and anyway it was the right moment. 1 lap left with the tank here on the left. Nothing. Derek Bell and Ronnie Peterson today decided to fight us, to put pressure. Red light for the reserve. Yes, everything perfect. we can go on this way. "75 seconds of the pit stop itself. I don't think we are P1 again, exactly, P3. Cold tires. We have Adamowicz Parker with the Alfa Romeo attached to the back. I must warm up tires and disc brakes before pushing too much. Anyway, much better than I thought. So prototypes, the first pit stop has been quite long. Almost 2 minutes lost by everybody. So after 1 hour of race, we are not definitely bad placed, given that we can stretch by almost a 50% more our stints. Ooh, there is a Corvette in the middle of the road. We lose on position, P4. 2 minutes 10 seconds. The last lap with the mistake to avoid the Corvette in front of us in this section of the track. But at least we are close to the Adamowicz Parker Ferrari P3. Ferrari P3 in P3 position. Okay, back in P3 for us, but fourth are Bell Peterson arriving with the Ferrari 512 prototype. Maybe will pass us very easily in the next straight. Overall, the car handling is understeering, at least for what I see here. So you risk to lose the front end when straight. Or you lose the rear if you accelerate too much. Or if you downshift too early, the torque of the engine is a monster. Here we are again with Bell Peterson. Adamowicz Parker back, and Kinun and Rodriguez, they are arriving. They have recovered a lot. Here we are. The car that you see in the back is the Porsche 917K. will let them go. For sure. If not now, in the next laps. And then we will see if they stop. They will stop, maybe. Around 2 hours and 30 minutes to the end. And maybe we will still have a bit of advantage stopping later. But as you can see, after the pit stop, we were leading the race after the others stopped. Then back in P3, P4, P5 more or less. But it's like if we have lost a bit of buffer in front. And endurance races are a bit of a system of elastics where you gain, you lose, depending on tire strategy, fuel strategy. With the balance of performances in real life, if you remember, the season 1 for this theme has been at a certain point set up with the balance of presence, because I had the possibility to choose between hundreds of cars and teams and versions, between BPR and Group C and Imsa GTP. At the end I had the possibility to change very frequently the number of cars bringing their presence. On behalf of the name of the constructor. Kinun and Rodriguez at the pit, luckily for us. So sorry, as I was saying, in the balance of performance of real life for the World Endurance Championship, in the previous season of Around the World in 24 Hours, I've applied the balance of presence, where basically the more a manufacturer was winning in the category, GTP, Group C, or GT1, 2 or 3, the less presence the race after, in the following race. I want to apply the same here, but the choice between Le Mans Classics prototypes and GT cars from Power and Glory is not balanced in the same way, so prototypes maybe will not receive a hard effect with the balance of presence. Maybe a bit more on GT cars, the variety in the choices much broader. Pass Bell Peterson, internal line. And they will pass again on the left. I fear, yes. And so I decided to introduce also a balance of performance and presence, more of performance for myself. So the higher the result at the end of each race, the higher the level of strongness for the contenders, for the AI. So we will be always on the edge. For example, today there's something wrong here. What are they doing? So for example, today I don't want to say that it's easy to win this race, because it isn't. Because I always tend to make things more complicated than they are. Sort of attitude in life also. But at least I want to challenge myself more and more, because anyway, the more you play a game, whatever the game is, the more you improve. So looking back at the X Oliver other GT40, we had almost 4 seconds full of advantage in the qualifying session. In the race I do not see them classified in the top 14, so really something that maybe makes me think that the level of strongness of contenders of AI could have been higher. While again, like before the first pit stop, what are you doing? This is a suspension broken for sure. Yes. What were they doing in the... They did brake in the middle of the road, I don't know why. So yes, repair and replace the suspension. And at this point, yes, we do a full load of fuel, like if it was a not predicted pit stop. This will put us in the bad condition in the overall classification, because we will lose 1 lap. And I'm curious to see if Bell and Peterson are going to lose more. I'm sorry, but they were basically braking in the middle of the road. Yes, they are working on the car. 8th, 9th. We've lost a lot. And even if we exit now, I think Larousse, Bucknam, Baker, Kinnunen will pass in front of us, because we have also the pit lane to follow, and Bell Peterson already outside the pit, so we should be okay. 1 minute and half less. But anyway, the car is repaired, good. P13, ooh. We will regain the top 5 just, I think, if our strategy will work out very well like it did before. So as I was saying, looked too easy to be in the top 5. So now the drama of the crash, silly crash. Okay, let's keep an eye on this 100 seconds, so 1 minute and 40 seconds of gap with Gallish Tommelen that are currently in the lead. This was the Mazda engine, the rotary engine. Did you hear the different sound. Harriot weakens in the pit like mass Stommelen, that's good. There is a big engine passing us maybe. Gosselin pile with the Lola Mark III. Must gain a bit. The driving section of the track, because on straight I cannot defend myself having less top speed. 93 seconds gap from Gallish Tommelen, the current leaders. And here again with our teammates, overlapping them. So yes, definitely with the balance of performance and presence will increase the difficulties, because with Group C and Imsa GTP and BPR 93% was already close to the limit where AI started to be erratic in the behavior. 93% is the current level of strongness for the AI for this race. 60 seconds, 61 now from the new leaders, Jackie X, Peter Schetti. 54 seconds from X, Peter Schetti. I suppose English would say Schetti, American Schetti. 53 now, 52. There are some troubles around, and we are gaining more or less 0.3 per lap, half a second per lap in the best scenario. I think we can still place the car on the podium if I don't screw up everything again. What a crash in front of us! And was the couple Helmut Marko with Mr. Linz that in some way stopped Kinun and Rodriguez from being quick. No yellow flag. We take advantage. And for the first time we reach the Porsche 917K, the Martini International Racing Team driven by Larousse Van Lennep, while other 917 will pass easily as with the top speed. .48 seconds from X, Peter Schetti. We are recovering bit by bit. Again yellow flag, top left corner. It is a Ferrari, maybe. The North American Racing Team, Bucknam Posey, yes, 3 positions in front of us. We could go back to P5, but not, because I do my usual silly movement, not breaking anything mechanically. Bravo Marco, what an idiot. And not only the balance of presence or performance, but I want to introduce in a forced way also races with a rainy day, full rainy day, because after 12 races in the last season of ATW, because in the last season of Around the World in 24 Hours, I've just found some qualifying sessions with rain, never a full proper race. I'm curious to see what is the driving module of Power and Glory. With a proper rainy day. Okay, back in the back of the trio with Bucknam Posey, Ferrari, North American Racing, Kinunen Rodriguez, John Wyer, Porsche 917 or 917, Kay, and Larousse Van Lennep, the other Porsche 917K of the Martini Racing International team. Let's try to pass them in the more driven area of the track. Where they are weaker and they are battling also, good for us. Wow, two in a shot. I was expecting the counter-attack on the straight. But if I can get a bit of advantage here, it would be easier to defend myself on the main straight. Down under 50 seconds again against Jackie X and Peter Schetti. Let's say Schetti. And believe it or not, we are back on the back of Derek Bell and Ronnie Peterson, P3 with the Ferrari 512S long tail. And less than 40 seconds from the leaders, Jackie X, Peter Schetti. It does seem we are quick enough to battle this prototype. find the soft spot. Obviously, I am expecting the usual counter-attack because of the top speed of the Ferrari. We can actually resist the better line. P2 because X and Peter Schetti are in the pit, so everything I can build up now will help me in some way when I will have to pit in 5 laps from now. Elford Siffert look a bit far, so I'm not sure to catch them prior to my pit stop. But if my pit stop will last 75 seconds like in the first occasion, because so far I do not have anything broken, seems, so nothing to repair possibly. The only thing I'm going to do is raise up a bit because I'm going to explain you in a second. As you can see, the internal temperature of each tire is higher than the mid part and the external part section of each tire. So maybe we are a bit down from an inflation point of view, inflated point of view, whatever. So I want to sustain more central part of each tire. It is not reaching the internal temperature of its counterpart. Back in the lead with Elford Siffert pitting. We will go in 4 laps time, more or less, from now. Baker and Bell, much quicker with the small prototype, but then we have the right to pass. And now that we have 71 seconds of advantage, our pit stop will last 75 seconds as the first one. We may risk to almost stay in the lead, but anyway closer than before. So we are still, I think, possible contenders for the final win, or at least a podium. If reliability will be on our side, because as you can see here, the health of the car has gone down a bit, 60% now, after 2 hours. Almost 1 lap of advantage over Ben Peterson. Kalish Tomlin in front of us. They were 4th. What they had in their mind. Okay, maybe 1 more lap. And in front of us we can see also the Holmes Prophet 16th placed Lola of the Bahamas racing team. There was a similar name in the ranking. Here we are. White like an angel. Will be very quick and straight. So we will suck a bit of air, maybe, if they do not brake like they did the others before. So let's book the pit. Okay, my prediction could be that we will be P5 after the pit. Counting everything, 75 seconds of refueling. Driving in the pit lane, etc. Nothing to repair, just going up with the tire pressure to have tires more planted, hopefully. So we enter with 75 seconds of advantage over Jackie Hicks and Peter Schetti with the Ferrari, and 100 seconds, so 1 minute and 40 seconds against Elford and Siffert. Good, let's go. Generally speaking, the night is long in Daytona because they go to race at the end of January, where it's full winter anyway, and despite the Florida and Daytona in particular being at the same latitude more or less than Tunisia, Sicily, maybe a bit lower again, we are anyway more in the north hemisphere, so the duration of the night is longer. In the 60s, for what I remember, despite not being there, there was not artificial lights around there were not, sorry, artificial lights around the circuit. Okay, let's be ready, because Hicks and Schetti are arriving. 73 seconds, they go. Elford, Siffert maybe arriving now. We've regained quite a lot. They passed, they are there. Did you see the white Porsche 908? They are. with new tires we are absolutely stunning with the grip. Okay, the counter-attack of Elford Siffert, at least on the street, has been properly managed in some way. Stommelen are playing with me despite being overlapped. After the mistake again against Elford Siffert, easy pass with fresh tires, now also in the right window temperature. And 15 seconds far from Jackie X in the Ferrari. Let's see if they will stop or not. Because we are now more or less covering 1 hour of racing. So it does mean that we will stop when there will be left 40 minutes. So it's not a sort of half refueling level. But will be maybe a quicker pit stop than the last two. Elford Siffert are not giving up. Here we are. Finally see also Jack Brabham and François Sever with the Matra. this red car, the next one, in 7 seconds, 8, will be the Ferrari. This was Adamo with Parker, P10, the Ferrari P3, Kinnunen Rodriguez, Kinnunen, I don't know, sorry. In the pit with the Porsche 917K, another great and difficult contender to beat. We gained a bit of breath with Elford Siffert, luckily. And I think that in 15-20 minutes from now we will see reappear daylight. While I was noticing that, like at the 24 hours of Le Mans or the 12 hours of Sebring, sorry, here on the bottom left corner there isn't a drop of temperatures despite the arrival of the night. If I'm not wrong, we started the race with 27 degrees on track and 17 the ambient, and still it is. Right or wrong, I don't know, but I was expecting a drop. For GTR2 Power and Glory there is a small application based on Java that can create a dynamic weather condition. I will try it for the next races. And luckily I didn't have the time to test it properly, because I'm curious to see, for example, 10 degrees less in the night compared to daytime, if can affect in some way the performances of tires and so the car. And while I was trying to kill an overlapped car, I see in difficulties X and Peter Schetti. Let's try to stay attached like a impossible to beat them. Far more lighter and powerful than us. But we will be back. Not in this way, Marco. Yes, they are in trouble. Also, I said this file is... The car is not braking. What has happened? Yes, there is a broken suspension. So we need the pit. I've been distracted by the silly thing I was saying, technically speaking. And then the Ferrari started to swing a bit. But I tried to apply the usual braking force, but unluckily the car didn't respond, or I was doing something wrong in the wrong place. Well, maybe we can drive. Despite this Aero 6.1 broken, I mean 6.1 seconds to be repaired and 95 seconds to repair the suspension. No. There's definitely something wrong. So yes, we go to the pit. We've lost one lap. Yes, I would say yes, there's something absolutely out of position. So we go to the pit with 1 hour and 22 minutes to the end. We'll try to repair the car completely. At this point I would increase also again the tire pressure. And now the race will be a 1 hour coverage after this pit stop, for sure, and a splash and go with 20 minutes to go. Okay. Bell Peterson moved ahead. Bucknam and Posey are arriving in a couple of seconds. And maybe also Linz Marco, Adamowicz, Parkes, Galli, Stombelen and Baker Bell, and maybe also Larousse, Van Lennep will pass in front of us, because currently they are repairing the car. So they have finished the refueling, they have finished the change of tires, but this is all the time invested for repairing. 92 seconds. P7. Luckily luckily Bucknam Posey are pitting now. And Galli Stommelen will pass here on the right. In front of us. Hold the tires, Marco. Hold the tires. Thank you. Thank you very much. Who was that nice person? Again, suspension broken. I think they were Brabham and Severth. yes, the suspension is absolutely broken. So now at this point I would change the strategy. Go to the pit for the last time, fulfill completely the tank, and hoping to last until the end. Well, looks drivable if the suspension broken is the rear left, because it's the tire less stressed, if you like, on this track. Let's see, let's try one lap also, because at this point the race is screwed up. Yes, just on the right corners is an issue, but we have just 2 complete right corners. So luckily, being a counterclockwise racetrack, not often seen in Europe, maybe never, the current broken suspension, for what I feel within the car, is the left rear. So because it is the less used tire wheel side of the car, maybe we can resist up to, we understand that fresh tires will not give us a decent performance, and then do the last pit stop, because the alternative is stop now and then crawl until the end of the race. Could be an option. But I'm not sure I will stretch enough the fuel load for more than 1 hour. With the first pit stop, when everything was going right, we did 58 minutes. So at least I have to resist until 50 minutes to the end, hoping that the others are not going too quick, and then try. I mean, we are 6 cars in 40 seconds, with the same possibility to win, and I have to reduce anyway the gap or keep it as it is, to then catch the leaders after the pit stop and the needed repairs, and the morning is arriving. Sorry for not finding an older Daytona layout. I've been successful with many other tracks that you will see in this long season. What a beautiful effect. Maybe we need a bit more lights on for a while. 27 seconds from the leaders. This is not good. 2 cars running out. There was a Lola maybe, or a Chevrolet. Was oil, was double error, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Knowing myself, I would have said an error of mine. But still, with the possibility of a top 3 final results, with a bit of lucky, overlapping maybe for the last time teammates that are running with a different pace out of top 14. So for the next episode we will increase the strength of the AI. One pit stop to go for us and for the prototypes for sure. We did run in 2:04, 2:02 the previous lap. We should be around 2 minutes with our current pace. A bit better. Down to 20 seconds less. Let's see the lap time of X Sketty. 2:02. Should be around 1:58, 1:59. Now, to fight them in the best way, if they pit, I pit. If not, I stay out. Tires are going away. Around 10 seconds now, the gap from the lead. What are you doing, overlapped car? I don't want to fear that given the broken suspension, when the tires will start to drop, the effect will be amplified. Now that we are 9 seconds from the leader, yes, it is amplified. Let's try the gamble. We go to the pit. We repair everything. We will finish P5, waiting the others for making the last pit stop they should do. Reload anyway all the fuel possible, because I will go like hell. I would say 130, 125. The stop should be quicker because we have already 1/3 of the tank available, preloaded. They have to stop, all of them, once more. Maybe close to the end. Good. We are one lap down compared to X Sketty Elford Siffert now. Running 2 minutes per lap. I should complete now 20 laps. I have 15 in the tank, but this car, for what I've seen, is using less fuel than indicated. Let's see if it is true or not. Level of healthiness 60%, stayed stable since 1 hour ago, more or less. X Sketty Elford Siffert in the pit now. I'm going back to their lap time, to their normal lap. Not anymore overlapped. Still both in the pit. Bell Peterson is the couple not yet stopping. Elford X out now. We will monitor their lap time and do some calculations, because in 36 minutes 18 laps I am just with a small buffer of possibility to catch them, because 18 laps left, 2 seconds per lap gained, hopefully, will be a 36 seconds gap regained. I am at 33 seconds now. Bell Peterson now in the pit. There should be an easy pass, because we had enough seconds to catch them and pass while they are pitting. .204 for X Sketty. They are very close. Maybe they are battling. Hopefully they will battle, so they will lose time. We arrive with 2 minutes. They do 2 minutes 2 seconds. .202 again. Okay, this is the couple Bell Peterson battling with an overlapped car. Let's try to sneak. Yes. Okay, P3. Now let's catch Elford and Siffert, possibly. Have a bit of breath against Bell and Peterson. They're struggling with the overlapped car. It will not catch us at the end of this straight, maybe in the next one. Lap time of X, sketchy, still constant. Guys, I think we are short of 1 lap. We need 11 laps, considering that every lap runs in 2 minutes. But when the race finishes, there's still 1 lap to go, to do. Come on. So I'm starting to run as much as I can without using all the RPM to save a bit. 201 exit. We didn't gain anything this lap. Be almost 4 cars finish to the start finish line. Okay, this is Elford Siffert, the Porsche 908. At our back we arrived Bell Peterson, the red car in front. Red point, tiny point in front of us is X Sketty. There are actually 2 red points in front. 4 cars after 4 hours race, simulating 24 hours, capable to win the 24 hours of Daytona. You will never see something like that, something like this in Formula 1, never. Let's start to pass Elford Siffert. Still short shifting, 7 laps predicted from the tank, 14 minutes, 13 minutes now. Possibly 6 laps to go. Doing short shifting using the torque of the engine. They will go away, no problem. Elford is not so close, hopefully, to avoid a battle. Possibly 5 laps to go. But we are struggling. Let's let them go. We can do it. We just must avoid mistakes, get advantage of the driving part, where this car is superior. the traffic. No, 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 no. We will do it again here. What are they doing? They break in the middle. Thank you. They did break the suspension again with the push. Now we have to understand if the left rear or right rear, whatever. At this point this is war. I will not save anything. Okay, the left rear is gone as a suspension device. Expect the counter-attack. We'll do it. This is war, guys. They cut my lap because I've cut the track. Still first, no penalty luckily, but I must be very quiet on cutting because I think that from now we will we will cross the start finish line, but there will be one more lap. At least with the short shift I did, we saved a bit of fuel. Now let's put one overlapped car in between. Lift because 3, 2, 1, 0. Yes! We avoided one lap more with 2 overlapped cars in between. I cannot believe it. And why Sketty did not finish? Oh my goodness, we have won the Rolex 24 hours of Daytona, guys. Believe it or not, we have won Daytona with a Group 4 car. Possibly not the best option today, but we will increase for sure. What is the... Oh my goodness. Thank you again. Nothing. Everybody hate this tiny Ford GT40. Oh man, oh boys, oh girls. After the 24 hours of Le Mans won in the previous season with the Mazda, I was not expecting to win also this. Thank you very much for bringing me luckiness, and not only. We will discover then what happened to X and Sketty for what was the last lap, because they retired basically close to the start-finish line. What a magic day, guys. What a magic day. The car is broken everywhere. Do we have lights working? Yes. 3 out of 4 maybe, yes. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Guys, great job. Thank you very much for bringing me so much luckiness. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I would increase anyway the difficulties of strongness with the contenders, but a 4-race finish after 4 hours of real racing, simulating 24 hours, is something crazy. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. This car was very heavy to drive. The force feedback was giving quite such informations, even if this model is not so strong like the model equipment you can buy. But really, wow. Wow. Can you believe it? I must increase the strongness of the AI by a 3% from the next race. But guys, thank you very much for bringing me luckiness from the beginning to the end, and I'm absolutely more than happy that in 12 months time we passed from the final P7 with the beautiful Intrepid Chevrolet of the Imsa GTP category to this. That is a win, I would say, not expected. I was hoping to finish in the top 10, maybe top 15 more possibly, but I don't know what to say. It has been a 4 hours race straight without even pausing to go to the toilet, so I'm going to be very short now with the debrief, and will follow the first classification of the year based on these results. But I must say thank you very much for bringing me so much luckiness and so much support and effort also for the previous videos that basically moved me to take the decision to do a second season of the same concept, starting with a 4 hours simulating a 24 hours. That will happen for real in the next weekend. I was not thinking to be so lucky and so, let's say, prone to reduce possibly some mistakes, some heavy mistakes that I did in the past, but mainly, I mean, I've been lucky to do something so special, so particularly fine driven until the end. And I must say, this mod combined together, so the Le Mans Classics that you can find on Race Department or on the web, together with the original content of Power and Glory, I think it's well balanced, because we have seen many passes, we have seen many low class category anyway staying in the loop, but the effort with a Group 4 that was in a way a 5 liters V8 powerful car, just weighing maybe 100 kilograms more than a prototype, so nothing so let's say dramatic compared to a modern prototype 5 liters like the Ferraris or like the Porsches. But yes, in the reality, between 69, where this Ford GT40 was basically arriving to the end of life of the model, the year after, 1970, I don't think there could have been a battle like this with the correct setup of strongness regarding prototypes versus a Group 4 car like the 4040. But anyway, what will count for the classification will be that prototypes will bring their winning class and their winning overall points, let's say, in their category. All the other Group 2 and Group 4, regardless of the liters, will bring something like their own points available. So I would say this one was a bit, let's say, unreal, because the strongness of the AI was not high enough to cope with a real environment. So I think that from the 93% of these difficulties we can move to 96 for the next race that will be held on the Watkins Glen 67 version edition, with maybe just prototypes running around. And obviously, sorry for the reflexes, but I need my glasses. Here we are. Let's say that the closest contender to the Ford GT40 in this particular mix could have been the Mass Stommelen Ford Capri RS, arrived 2 laps down. 2 laps down are basically 4 minutes, considering that we arrived 2 laps down. Each lap was run in 2 minutes, so average distance, let's say, was 4 minutes. So each hour produced 1 minute of gap for the closest type of car compared to the winning car, what we were driving, the Ford GT40. So I must say, maybe with a 3% more difficult increased, maybe we will find the soft spot to have exactly what we need to have always fierce battle, more real, let's say, between prototypes and non-prototypes car. But this is the result. So the historic Ford GT40 of the 69 last, let's say, development available won the 24 hours of Daytona, the nowadays Rolex 24 hours of Daytona, in front of Elford Siffert with a 3 liters prototype Porsche 908K, 2 Ferraris then, the official ones, Bell Peterson X Sketike, that was anyway at our back until the last lap, so for sure happened something strange, or a retirement for a technical issue, or they finished the fuel, because anyway they were crawling heavily, all the prototypes at the end. But until the last lap we had possibly 4 cars winning after 4 hours of battle. 1 lap down, Galli Stommelen and, strangely enough, Bucknam Posey with the North American Racing team arrived 5th, maybe 1 lap down or far enough from X Sketty to be classified 5th. Then the first Alfa Romeo, Galli Stommelen, Gerard Larousse with the Van Lennep, with another set of Porsches, the Martini International Racing, and then the official John Wyer Porsches, Kinnunen Rodriguez, Redman Siffert, 10th overall place for Adamowicz Parsons with the North American Racing Ferrari 3 liters, prototype 3 liters. So the real classification would be victory of class for the prototypes for the Porsche 908K. For what is the Group 2 and 4 cars, I would say the second of class is Mas Stommelen with the Ford Capri RS 3100. On the podium, Bell X with the Group 2 BMW 3.5 liters CSL. Then Galimberti Gottifredi with the De Tomaso, fourth. Fifth, Jolsten Muir with the other BMW. Sixth is another Chevron. Here we are. Sixth, the Chevrolet Corvette GT over 5 liters. Another De Tomaso Pantera, 7th. 8th, the first tiny Alfa Romeo Giulia 2000 GT AM. 9th, the other Alfa Romeo, not classified but 10th, the other X Oliver Ford GT40 that had issues with brakes. And we have anyway many retirements, I would say, some of them almost at the end of the race, because we completed 113 laps and they retired at lap 89. Brakes, engine for the Corvette, the Porsche's 911, maybe a crash, did not finish. An engine for the other Ford Capri of Alan Moffat, another crash maybe for the prototype 3 liters. And at the beginning of the race there were few laps for these cars, so really a pity. With also other two Porsches, GT category and Group 4, model 914, 911 retired after few laps. I'm curious about the best laps because I think I was too quick. Yeah, I was in the performance of Ferraris and Porsches, so we should consider that I should have run, let's say, around, yes, maybe 2 minutes 08. I was almost 10 seconds quickest, when in the qualifying session I was 6 seconds quickest than my teammate. So yes, I will increase, I would say 100% from 93 in the next chapter, the second episode at Watkins Glen, but before that race maybe there will be a period of waiting. I want to finish many other chapters, but I'm happy anyway. We consider as assumed the fact that there is a car, sorry for the reflex, that was a sort of GT2 car or an LMP2 car winning the overall classification of the 24 hours of Le Mans. Happened in real life. This time happened with a almost a photo finish between 4 cars with 3 different manufacturers, Ford, Ferrari and Porsche. It has been very exciting, very demanding, I must say, very focusing on what was the thing to do, the strategy, etc. My mistakes and the crashes had here and there generated a sort of retard in the classification, so the photo finish is in some way credible up to a certain point, because without crashes and without problems and issues I think I would have won too easily. So from the next race we will start back to the 100% difficulties, and maybe we will reduce it if it will be needed, but to have, let's say, a more compatible and real simulated scenario. Anyway, this was the first experiment. I hope you did enjoy anyway the first battle on track. So thank you very much for watching so far. We'll follow the first classification for this new chapter, despite coming from the experience had in the previous year with the first season. And I would say at least this time I did a right calculation for the fuel, not like at Sebring with the Corvette GTP in the last season. And so in some way the karma takes and gives back in some way, and I like it when it happens this way. But for sure from the next episode will be difficult and difficult. But because I said that I will attend the real Rolex 24 hours of Daytona in a couple of days, this video will be published maybe when I will be already there in US. Hopefully I will get there. So maybe there will be a bit of pause between this video and the next following one, but be sure that I will bring back all the pictures, videos, autographs, interviews, whatever that I will do in Daytona for the one of the most magical race of the Triple Crown of what is the endurance world. And at this point, because we have won Le Mans last year with the Mazda 787B, like in the real world, today we have won the 24 hours of Daytona. If we will succeed to win also at Sebring in March, or prior to March, I would say maybe we could virtually consider ourselves the winners of the Triple Crown at least once for the endurance world. That being said, thank you again for watching so far. Stay very well. As always, stay home, stay safe and stay racing. And see you very soon on iKeysRacing channel for the next something about motorsport, virtually unlucky. But not only virtually. At least a report from Daytona will come, I hope, sooner than later. So thank you very much again. Stay well. Best wishes to you and to your beloved. See you very soon in the next chapter and the next video. Bye bye. Thank you very much. Ciao. Stay well. Bye. Good night. Ciao. Bye bye. Thank you.